Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Aspiring Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Hamza Chowdhury. I hope you guys had a wonderful day. It's Monday, April 19, 2021. If you're new to this channel, what we do in our daily stock recap is we go over a handful of tickers that we're following for the week from our Sunday recap. In our Sunday recap, we're kind of looking for big picture items and sort of a discussion of the overall market and where we kind of see it heading. And then in these daily recaps, we just talk about those specific tickers to see how they performed. And so with that said, guys, as always, I'd like to start these videos by asking for your support. If you do enjoy this video, do hit the like and subscribe button. As always, guys, it means a lot to me, and I really do appreciate all of you guys who've been fans of the channel and helped us grow. Obviously, without your support, we wouldn't be here, so thank you again. Interesting day in the market. You know, we talked about this yesterday in our Sunday video that the market felt really extended. I talked about how it was going to start selling off, and so we mentioned that in sort of the title of the video. And so if you look at the SPY on my daily chart here, carefully look at this last candle that we had Friday. Okay, so you see this cross, and you can see there's some indecisiveness between the buyers and the sellers. And when you see a bunch of these green candles, we've been in a bullish market. We've always been in a bullish market for many years. And when you see this extension and it's just sort of drifts, you could see that there's, pullback is healthy for the market. And one of the things that we mentioned was that a lot of the smaller tickers, we've talked about a ton of the small, a lot of stocks have actually really gotten beaten down. And a lot of the heavy hitters, the Apples, the Facebooks, the Microsofts, the Teslas, have really kept going up. And they've been, because they're heavy hitters, they can move the index is a lot more than some of these little guys like the Spce and some of the other stocks that we cover. And so one of the things to keep in mind is even though those stocks are really beaten down, some of these stocks are trading at much higher than where they were a few weeks ago. And so this is sort of what I call the first kind of day of what I expect to see sort of as a retracement back, at least either to the 20-day, if not, the 50-day is sort of my risk. And so what you do in this type of period is, I mentioned to you guys, if you bought new positions on this channel, we talked about excellent support levels at different stocks, whether it's Apple or Tesla, and it's really time to capture profit. Now, Apple has a new product they're releasing tomorrow. And so when we get into Apple, we can see that clearly this 135 has been giving it some problems. And so for me, this is the top at Apple. This is sort of okay, I've ran this sort of marathon from 117 all the way up to 135. Let me take a break and consolidate. And then what I really expect is it might be kind of a sell the news type of an event. And so we're not that far, we're within $10 from the all-time highs, but realistically, I mentioned, I'm looking really where we broke out of this sort of top here. And then of course, now you can see that the 20-day and the 50-day are intersecting in an upwards direction. And so we're obviously bullish on the stock, but we're obviously overbought on the stock. And if we look at our momentum clearly shows that, right, the signal line and the MACD line are starting to flatten out. And so we're starting to see the crown of the momentum. And so what I really feel is going to happen again is we'll get down here closer to the 127.50. I still feel that way. And, as the SPY sort of retraces itself, we were down, today a couple points. As it sort of retraces itself, you'll see that Apple will continue to retrace itself as well. Okay, and so tomorrow's the event. It could be just sell the news event, but like I said, don't forget to pay yourself. Even if you're a bag holding, there's a good chance you're positive on Apple unless you bought at all-time highs. There's a good chance getting anywhere in this consolidation you should be positive. So why not pay yourself and buy on that retracement back here? Okay, and you can see this level is very strong at 127.50, and so that's where I would be buying. Okay, for Tesla, it found support at its 50-day. I mentioned that 710, 715 would be a great entry just because that was the level that we were having trouble when we broke out. There was news on Tesla that there is an investigation on some of its cars for a collision that happened. I mean, that happens every day. Collisions happen every day. Why don't we hear news on Ford and all the other companies? Why is it always bagging on Tesla? So I don't think that was a big of a deal. But what I did like about today's price action, guys, is we validated that 695 area, which is a strong support for us. We knew it was a strong support, but like I mentioned before, getting down to that low, to our low today was 691, 692, to get to that 695 support, I mean, that was an absolute steal. And so the fact that we're closing above the 50-day, and you can see slowly that this 50-day is going to start flattening out in the same kind of setup that we see here at Apple, right? Is that the 50-day flattens out and then the 20-day crosses it. And so we're starting to see that same setup with Tesla. And again, guys, keep in mind, in 1 week we have earnings. And so it's going to be really interesting to see what we report. And so ideally, this would be the higher low that we've been sort of tracking, okay? And so we have this low here, we had this low here, we failed to succeed here, and then we retested and we broke out, and then we had this top, and then we had this low, and now we have this higher high, and now we have this low, okay? And so as long as we don't break this key level here around 680, right, that this sort of higher high, higher low sort of thesis applies. And so that's what we're looking for, right? Are these higher lows on each time that we're trading Tesla. And that's what we got today. You can see this wick is extremely long. Take this out real quick. You can see this wick stands for what? Understand the price action, right? So this is basically buyer stepping in. It was a red day for Tesla, no doubt. But look at how the buyer stepped in and really pushed this over the 50-day. And so there's a lot of momentum in Tesla. And you know, again, definitely expect to see it get back up here. You know, testing back in the 800s, and right here was a good gap fill that we had from this day, from back here in late February. And so again, depending on how the cars, we know that they've already broken some records and they've killed it in Q1. And so let's just see what they come out with. And we know they have a huge investment in Bitcoin that flipped their money, which made them more money in 2020. And so that Bitcoin investment was a solid investment for Tesla. So let's see how it plays out. Palantir, you know, same thing. I definitely, you know, looks like we want to retest that $20, $21 level. It's been a weak stock. It's, you know, the 50-day has been its resistance, and now you can see right here the 20-day has been the resistance, and so it's really been on the bearish side. And you know, it had a great sort of double click day last week, just demonstrating to essentially analysts what its software can do. There was discussion about how Palantir's Foundry has helped deliver PPE in the UK. And so, you know, this is a company, guys, like, yeah, you know, all of us are back holding, no doubt, unless you've got a new position today in Palantir, you're definitely back holding. But this is a company, this is a quality company. This is a quality company with quality contracts that's international. This isn't your junk Momo stocks that we play on this channel too, right? This isn't one of those junk stocks that we play for the squeeze. This is an actual quality company that did a direct listing only 6 months ago that has a ton of potential. And so as a long, like I mentioned before, if you're bag holding, let's just say up in the 20s or even in the 30s, just do a covered call. And so find the price target, find a weekly expiration, and literally sell that call. It may be worth 5 cents, it may be worth 50 cents, but why not just get paid for some premium for something that you're holding and just wait and just be patient with it, okay? And so there's still more downside risk potentially here to test the 21, and you can see that the momentum's just been really, you know, it's really just died off. It's not like these couple days or, you know, back here, okay? And so until we get some serious momentum, you know, expect that this thing's just going to kind of fade. But similar to a lot of setups, this thing is, you know, the buyers are in the trade, okay? And so the institutions are in the trade. And so just hang tight. SPCE actually ended up making new lows today, 21.55. And so yesterday I mentioned to you this week our price target, and I want to draw this out for you guys. Our price target is going to be right up here this week, right at the 200-day, okay? And so the 200-day is right here, right around under 28. So we said it's about $27. And so what you can see here is that as sort of Spce sort of made this dive, right? It was a dead cat bounce here, and then you can see it tested this sort of low here, and we thought we were going to make a higher low from here, and then that thesis went invalid the moment we weren't able to succeed past here, right? And so we got a lower high, and so now we obviously got a lower low. So here's our lower low, and so what I really expect to see is a test back up here. Now, why is this so convincing? Well, one, the 200-day is there. Okay, so the 200-day is there, so you obviously know you have a area of interest, but also kind of look at where your resistance are, right? Your resistance are typically in areas of consolidation, and so you have a bounce here, and then you have a top here, and then you can see some consolidation at this level, and now what you can see is this sort of new low. And so we broke this level, but now this is going to act as resistance, right? These levels are going to act as resistance right over here. Okay, so you have some consolidation, that's going to act as future resistance. And so what happens is you bounce, you have the support, then you hit your resistance, and then you hit some support, you don't hit the previous resistance, and now you failed to succeed, and now you're making a lower low. And so when you make the lower low, when you want to come back up, you're going to hit the previous consolidation, which, like I said, was at the 200-day, which to me was an absolute steal. Another thing to note was that on the actual imbalance locator, which is an indicator to let you know where all the books are buying these shares, there was a 2 million share imbalance on Spce on the buy side, which means there's 2 million shares ready to be bought. Now, I'm not saying that means to go buy, Spce and go all, ham with it, but it just tells me that, this is winding down, guys. This move is winding down, okay? And so it's really just a steal to buy it at the levels that we're buying it. And again, if you look at the daily, it's an absolute steal, okay? We've been trading out of this channel for quite a while, and so we're getting at these key levels here, back at this consolidation here at this top, okay? And so I really see the stock coming back, and like I mentioned, 26 would be sort of my price target right up here, okay, for this week, short term. Fcel definitely looks like the 200-day. I think we talked about this yesterday, was just the fact that, the 200 days where we're going to get some support. So great day trading. If you were able to get that move today, congratulations. It's been a solid play. You can see that, the momentum has shifted negative for quite some time. The RSI has shifted negative, but, it's just a kind of a junk company that got squeezed up. And now you can see that, it's trading back to really where it should be. And so I mentioned before, taking a position at the 200-day that you could risk down here potentially, maybe a buck. But realistically, I would just be day trading the stock. If you have a long position up here, guys, it's gonna be a while. I mean, a lot of this was just momentum, not a lot of volume. And so I don't really think, I think a lot of the buyers that were in this trade who ran this up, have essentially sold this thing off and it's faded. And so we can see just constant, right? Like lower lows and lower highs, okay? Lower lows and lower highs. And so I would just be day trading this and bouncing it off of certain areas. And same idea, you can play it to the areas of interest. In this case, the 20-day, which is trading around $12. And so you could build a position, but like I said, once you start breaking below $8, all bets are off, and you could potentially be back holding this for some type of retracement, okay? And the whole sector has been hurting in general. We know Neo, Plug, all of these sort of stocks have been hurting, and so the whole sector itself has been rotated, and so that's why we're seeing the price action that we're seeing, okay? So same idea, right? It's just like a dead cat bounce, right? It bounces, and then it gets lower and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And so that's what we're seeing with a lot of these stocks. And so don't just get suckered in. Again, if you're buying around the 200-day, I've done that. I did that with Spce, so no problem there. And same idea, guys, is it's consolidating. It's holding these sort of consolidation level here. And so let's get it back to at least the the trend line, or at least the 20-day. And so for Plug, that's where I see the resistance line here. So I'll draw it out, as I definitely see, again, when this wants to retrace, that this is going to be the resistance line right here, okay? Like this will be the resistance line right here. So that's where I think we'll have, I picked red. Let me just erase that. So this right here will be the resistance line, okay? So it's going to come back up, and then it's going to hit the previous resistance, which just lines up perfectly with this trend line. And so that's where I see $30 being the Plug short-term target for me personally. And now I'm not in this trade, but that's just where I would sort of put a short-term price target, is right here, okay? And so it's failed. It broke this support, and now when it comes back and it wants to retrace, that's the first level it wants to hit, okay? So $30. All right, guys. With that said, we're at 13 minutes, so hopefully this was helpful. As always, guys, I appreciate your support. Good luck, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.